You guys would never believe the amount of technical difficulties I have had today to get to this moment. And I think I finally got this working in my favor. So as you guys can see, I have a new mic and it was not recording properly on my laptop in the room that I was filming in, so I had to come all the way in my office. All of this to say that this background y'all see here, this is not what I wanted. I had the cutest setup. I had my audio recording on my laptop. It was looking good. My makeup was all fresh, just for it to go down in the dumpster. And sometimes that is just the way of the YouTuber. Things just do not work out the way that you want them to be. But everybody say hello to our new mic that is hopefully working correctly, or we're just gonna have a fight at the end of this. We're gonna be talking about what this video is about, and you guys, you're about to be shook, okay? Have you heard of wife swap? If you have not, I have a treat for you. And if you have heard about it, maybe you haven't heard about some of the things that I'm about to tell you in today's video that are unbelievably disturbing. Thank you for this video's sponsor, which is Rocket Money. Listen, I'm embarrassed to admit this, but I'm gonna be fully transparent for you guys, my viewers, those of you that I love and adore with my entire heart and soul. I am not good with paying attention to what subscriptions I am paying for that I shouldn't be. Sometimes I subscribe to something and totally forget that I did, and it will get lost in my bank account. I won't see it in the pile of, you know, bills and groceries and things like that I'm being charged for something that I'm no longer using. And that brings me to today's video's sponsor, which is Rocket Money. It is a very useful tool that I think all of us can benefit from. This personal finance app allows you to manage your subscriptions, lower your bills, make a custom budget, and grow your savings all in one place. Rocket Money is the app that you need to save more and manage your money better. So if you're like me and you forget about the things that you subscribe to, you may not even remember right now as I'm saying that you subscribe to something that is being pulled out of your bank account. We have really busy lives. It's hard to remember to check sometimes. What I love about Rocket Money is that it safely and securely identifies subscriptions that you are paying for that you may not want. It identifies those for you and it cancels them. And all you have to do is click a button in the app. Just one tap and Rocket Money takes care of those unwanted subscriptions for you and cancels them, which is incredible. It simplifies it, makes it easy and quick. Rocket Money can also help you lower your bills. All you have to do is upload a photo of your bill, tap a few quick buttons, and then Rocket Money will negotiate your bills for you. This can be from internet service, cable, phone bills, anything like that. If you need help managing your finances, Rocket Money is the app that you need to achieve financial freedom. Now you can try Rocket Money for free by using my link that is in the description or bio, or you can just type in rocketmoney.com/kyeluh. That is spelled just like here on YouTube, KYELUH, and head over to Rocket Money to start your free trial to help you manage your finances better and cancel those unwanted subscriptions that you may forgot you even are paying for. Thank you so much to Rocket Money for sponsoring today's video. Back when Wife Swap first started, it was such an interesting show and most of us were very intrigued by it back then when we'd be flipping through guide and we'd see Wife Swap pop up. Most of us would click it because it was just so unhinged you could not stop watching. Wife Swap is an American reality television program based on the British show of the same name that was first broadcast on ABC in 2004. In the program, two families, usually from different social classes and lifestyles, swap wives and mothers, and sometimes husbands, for 2 weeks. The show originally aired on ABC for 6 seasons between 2004 and 2010 and was narrated by actor John Schwab. So two very different families are introduced to each other, and the wife from each family is sent to live with the other family for 2 weeks. Before they meet the new family, both of the wives have a chance to explore the home and read a manual that's left for them by the other wife. During the first week of their stay, the wives must live by their new family's rules and learn to adapt to a different lifestyle. But on the second, the wives are then able to impose their own rules on the families, which they read out at the rules change ceremony. Rule change almost inevitably results in conflict as the families push back against their new wives' demands. After the 2 weeks are over, the couple couples then reunite and they come face to face across a table to discuss their experiences. This often leads to insults and arguments and has even led to physical violence, though the couples also often use the time to reconcile and talk about what they learned. And then after the show is over, the cameras return to the houses to see if the swap has impacted their families' lives. When reality television was new and fresh, it was just watching train wrecks. It's still like that, but the difference between reality TV back then and it today is that in today's time, people are pretty aware of the repercussions of what you say and do on reality television and how that will affect you in your life moving forward and how that will affect you in your career. People who get on reality TV, they are now influencers on social media and they're able to have careers, sell products, things like that. And people do not want to sell to someone who's going to be super problematic. But back when Wife Swap was the thing to watch, there was none of that. Social media didn't exist and the internet was still very new. So people kind of said and did whatever. And it was a train wreck that you could not stop watching. One of my favorite episodes, and one that you may have heard of even if you never watched the show, was the one where they took that extremely religious Christian woman and they swapped houses with the woman that was a Wiccan. I messed up a little bit here with this one because there was another show that was called Trading Spouses Meet Your New Mommy, and that is where these clips came from. But I'm going to go ahead and include it because the premise of the shows are basically the same thing. The difference between Wife Swap and Trading Spouses is Trading Spouses didn't run for as long. It ended after 3 seasons in 2007. Both of the families were awarded $50,000 with the stipulation that the guest mother would decide how her host family must spend the money. Wife Swap was with ABC and Trading Spouses was with Fox. The producers of Wife Swap claimed that Fox stole their concept, and Fox argued that TV shows have always borrowed from one another and that they simply beat ABC to delivery. The woman that was a Wiccan was such a sweet lady and she had such a positive experience getting to know this Christian lady's family. She got along really well with the kids and the husband and was just such a sweet lady.
You like better the watch or that?
I think I like the necklace.
I think you could get both. How about that?
I have to.
Yeah, I do have to. To the Funky Diva. And I bought her a beautiful necklace. We went to the dance studio. We had a great time watching Brooke dance. I couldn't take my eyes off of her. What I wanted to say was that
Did you discuss astrology with my family?
No, but I hypnotized Ashley.
But the Christian religious woman was unhinged.
So dork-sided! What? Dork-sided! Not of God. It's not Christians. Did you not ask if she believed in God? She's not a Christian!
She could be a Jew and believe in God.
It doesn't matter. She's tampering in dark-sided stuff. Yes, she did. The entire house is dark-sided. She is dark-sided too. This is tainted. I don't want it. Whatever it is you give it me, I give it up to God. I'm a God warrior, and I don't want someone with tainted anything in beliefs doing anything with my family. Get out! Gargoyles, psychics, everything's ungodly. Dark-sided.
I'm glad you're home.
Get the hell out of my house. In Jesus' name, I pray. There was nothing of God. Every day it was nothing of God. I had to change the whole plans and make everybody go to a Catholic church. And her kids don't go to church or believe in God. And if everybody would look back at everything I've been saying and preaching and praying and saying, I've been saying I am a spiritual warrior because I feel like I'm a spiritual warrior. In Jesus' name, I pray. They will be on my prayer list for the day I die. Every one of them.
You spoke to her?
I speak that into existence, every one of them. I've planted that seed and I will see the harvest. Get out of my house. Every dark-sided person, get out of my house. If you believe in Jesus, you can stay here. Don't stay in my house if you're dark-sided.
Now, she was on there like demons and gargoyles, and she was like throwing up because she thought there were demons there.
Oh, God.
I mean, screaming, she's not a Christian. I mean, this episode was all over the place. Everybody was talking about this episode, and she is a meme to this day. She was so unbelievably rude and disrespectful to this other woman just because of what she believed in. And it was really sad to watch and kind of like an example of why you shouldn't judge people. And then also kind of on the topic of the more innocent things that happened on the show but were wild to see was the one where they took this very like health conscious woman who was very into fitness and exercise, and they put her in a household where they all ate junk food and crap all the time. And there are some clips of this little boy who he is just struggling with that.
I really do like chicken nuggets. They're good. Chicken nuggets is like my family. I don't want to eat vegetables.
Going to take you motivational shopping to help you visualize the finer things.
I don't want to be skinny. I want to be fat and happy. You forgot that in the big freezer? But here it is.
I made dinner.
It looks so nasty. Oh, it's so stupid.
You can do
I
it.
don't like this crap. No, I want my bacon. I gotta tell you something. Bacon is good for me. She thinks out of the blue she's a smart little girl that she can do whatever she wants. She's acting like she's the queen and we're the sorry people. I have been nice to you, but now I'm coming to the edge. She's gonna try to stop me, but she can't run in those little high heels.
It's harmless, but it's very interesting to watch. And I wonder how he's doing today. I wonder, does he eat broccoli these days? You know, on that side of wife swap, it was very harmless and there wasn't really anything, you know, bad going on. But oh my God, there were some dark stuff going on this show. And some of it, I think they tried their best to hide or pretend like it never happened. It's kind of giving adults, adopting adults, how that show just disappeared. There was another episode of Wife Swap UK that was just shocking to another degree. And that is the one where this man was allowing his children to drink alcohol and get drunk.
Can we have some Wicked, please?
Some Wicked, it's alcohol.
It's that red stuff.
You know a little bit, not much.
I can't show them pouring it, but yeah, that's not juice.
What happens on the New Year's Eve party?
Sneaking booze.
Sneaking
No,
on.
I went sneaking, but Dad let us. What?
Get drunk. It's really worse if they're like that now. What the hell are they going to be like if they get to adulthood? And her friends talking about when Sasha got drunk on New Year's Eve. And Mum and Dad were too slaughtered themselves to notice that she was stealing booze.
You made a will. I can't see you doing it again.
Oh, what did you do about it? On some really hard drugs. It's okay. She's dead now. She's never going to do it again, is she? That really frightens me.
It doesn't worry me because I don't think she'll do it again. And
But
she
you
was
don't
ill.
think.
Okay? She was ill, and I don't think she can do it again, and I'm not worried about it. Who are you to tell me how to have my kids? I think it's
I'm
wrong for
worried.
kids to drink alcohol. I
I'm
do think it's
worried.
wrong, but I'm not worried about it.
But if you think it's wrong, why don't you stop
I
it?
did alcohol when I was a kid. My parents didn't know I did all of it. It didn't do me any harm.
That gives me a weird vibe.
I want to talk about the episode that aired. And this one was really shocking because at the time when people watched it, obviously nobody knew what was going to end up happening later to this family and what one of the family members was going to do. This episode featured this family where the parents were very strict. This boy ended up murdering his mom and brother. Now, the episode where the Stockdale family was introduced didn't really seem that different from any other episode. It was two families that ran their households completely differently than each other, just like every other episode. However, in the Stockdale's house, the way that they ran things was very strict. They gave kind of like Duggar vibes in the sense that they had a whole bunch of boys that they had in a bluegrass band where the mom would sell their CDs and they would have them go on and perform, and they were very talented.
The Stockdale Family Band has been around for about 3 years. We have 4 sons, Calvin, who's 19, Charles, who's 16, Jacob, who's 15, and James, 11. I sell CDs, I manage the finances.
But they were also extremely controlling. They didn't allow any cussing. They didn't allow their children to date. Their mom believed that if they would go on any sort of date, that they would inevitably end up getting somebody pregnant.
The stakes get higher and higher with dating because now we're talking about pregnancy.
How would you feel if your sons wanted to marry someone that didn't save themselves for marriage?
If she didn't save herself for marriage, would it be easier for her to cheat on him? I don't think Megan and Samantha understand the real risks of premarital sex. Any day now, they could become pregnant.
They wanted to have control over these boys entirely. So, of course, they also homeschooled them so they had no outside influences. They weren't allowed to watch TV. They weren't allowed to listen to music that wasn't approved of. They had no freedom at all. And then on top of this, the boys had gruesome hours of chores where they were constantly doing work around the house and around the farm. They just weren't able to live like children and to play and have fun. They had to work their life away. They weren't allowed to have friends, and they weren't allowed the freedom to choose how they would spend their time. Now, when they would do this work around the house and the farm, this would allow them to earn tokens. These tokens they could then save up and essentially spend to do certain things that they wanted to do. So if they wanted to do something fun, they had to work their butt off to get these tokens to then do that thing.
It also addresses attitudes. Just because the job is done does not mean it's necessarily done in the right way. The boys pay 20 tokens to listen to a radio show.
Whenever they did the swap, the other mom sent them out on dates. They didn't even know how to really talk to girls. They also got them cable and a gaming console. One of the younger boys, when he was playing the video game, he said he felt like he was doing something wrong.
Let's think about this. It's fun for the present. It has no value, really.
I feel guilty right now, but I love it.
This strict environment would inevitably land them in a very disturbing situation where one of their sons, who was 15 at the time that it was being filmed, would end up murdering his mom and youngest brother, and that was Jacob Stockdale. It was on June 15th, 2007 when he shot his mother, who was 54 years old. His mother was by the name of Catherine Stockdale. His youngest brother was 21-year-old James. Police arrived at the family home following the emergency call from Jacob. When Jacob called, he then hung up the phone, and this was because he turned the gun on himself. When the police arrived, they heard the gunshot, and that was Jacob shooting himself in the head. So his wound was very serious, and it required a long hospital stay. The murders and the weapon that was used on himself was a shotgun, so you know that it was brutal. Jacob survived, but it was with a severe traumatic brain injury, and he also lost all of the sight in his left eye. He is currently living with at least 7 metal fragments permanently lodged into his head. The murder case was delayed because of his injuries and difficulties in completing a sanity evaluation during the COVID-19 pandemic. And while Jacob was incarcerated, he attempted to escape twice from the unit in the facility. Jacob has never spoke about why he murdered his mom and his brother. He has since received 30 years to life in prison for the murder of his mother and brother. His other brothers and his father forgive him for the murders that he committed. I imagine that this is probably like a less severe way of how people, like I'm sure people who knew someone who ended up becoming a murderer or did something like this, that the way they feel is far worse and goes far deeper and way more traumatic. But I imagine it's a much more mild version of what that must feel like when you see an episode of a show or you watch somebody on TV and you see them moving and talking and thinking and breathing. And then later you hear something like this and you go back and you watch that episode and it's like you're like foreshadowing, like you know what's going to happen now. And it's just so hard to process and is so unbelievably disturbing. So, I mean, this episode is out there. Like, you can find this episode and you can watch it, and you want to just jump into the TV and be like, he needs help. You guys are in danger. But, you know, it's one of those situations where you can't stop it. It's like when you see CCTV footage of someone who is getting into a car with someone that is going to end up murdering them. You just want to just stop it from happening, and you can't. It'll never stop being like one of the most disturbing things to watch an episode of a show like this, knowing what's going to happen to that family. And that's one of the most interesting things about cameras and like filming and videos and recording and stuff, is that you're able to see people moving and thinking and breathing and talking and existing, and they look so alive, right, on the footage. And then something like this happens, and it's just it's very hard to conceptualize that, but it's extremely tragic with a less tragic tone, but still disturbing. And I have some footage of this to show you as well, before we get into the worst. Well, is it the worst? I don't know. I think murder's worse, but this one's really bad too. But before we get to that, okay, there was an episode that aired of Wife Swap where I feel like if you've ever been in a situation before with someone who gets violent, you probably would have been triggered by watching this man, because he got so aggressive to this poor woman that it was getting scary. And the way that he's talking to her and yelling at her in this clip over something so dumb, the way he's talking to her, and then he goes to his daughter and this child, and he's like getting her involved and yelling at her, and you can just tell she's uncomfortable and scared.
Is this what you do at home? I mean, leave the floor wet and stuff, you know? We got children, they can slip and fall. I mean...
The floor's wet. Where's the floor wet?
I tell you what, if you can't see that shit, then I can't tell you, because you don't want to see it.
They're wet on the floor there. The children don't come over the line.
Isn't that what I just said?
Yeah, but you're looking over there.
Did I ask you a question? Is that the way you do at home? Leave the floor wet?
But it's not wet. It's a bit water that drips. It's not wet. It's not wet over there.
Listen to yourself. I didn't say over there. I said the floor, period.
You walked over. Listen to me. You walked over. No, you listen to me. You walked over and you went. Is that what you do? Leave the floor wet. Now, to me, terminology, floor wet, all floor wet. Now, you could have said, is that what you do? Leave drips of water all over the floor. These children don't cross the line without telling me. So they're not going to slip, so there's no danger for them, because they're not going to cross the line. If I slip on that floor, it's my fault.
Come here. Can you go over there right now? Exactly. No. Because the stove is off, right? So therefore, the children have enough fucking sense to tell that the stove is off, okay? Mm-hmm. So what you just fucking said was the children are not going to go past the line.
Well, it's not.
But you was fucking wrong.
Don't shout at me like that.
You was fucking wrong.
No, we're wrong.
Here, come here.
Please.
If the floor has water on it, if the floor has water on it, is it considered wet? Thank you. All right? Take it easy. Get on in there.
She's going to say yeah, but she's not going to. Because she's not going to want to upset you. I'm sorry. You screaming at me.
Yeah. I tell you what you could do for me right now for the whole fucking situation is just shut the fuck up. All right?
Like, what the fuck?
You don't have to be one of my motherfuckers, too. Don't come with that bullshit.
This is one of those situations where I feel like the person that was like filming it had to have been so uncomfortable, like feeling like something really bad was about to happen, because I feel like this could have escalated. And then like even when they're talking at the end, because at the end of Wife Swap, they would all come together and meet and sit at a table, and they would discuss things, and they would just kind of like fight and argue and stuff. And they were still arguing at this table, and the wife was just like defending him.
I take a lot from Ryan. Yeah. He's in that position. He takes it from not only you and the children. Things had to change.
If I say something to the children, I need backup from you.
I don't need you to start having a go at me and shouting at me in front of the children. That is undermining any authority or any respect the children have got from me.
Your biggest problem is her, and her biggest problem is herself.
It's like if you want to talk something, it's your way or no way. You don't want to discuss anything. If you don't get your way, you start shouting and raising your voice.
It's me who does all the shouting, it's me who does everything else. Make a living you out being a professional victim. When I felt that Brian wouldn't do the rule changes, I thought he was just being childish and selfish. But you know, he didn't like it because I won't back down. I don't back down for no one. And he couldn't deal with this strong woman who he's never come across before and who's never going to back down from him and he'll stand up to him. And all this squat thing, I think that should be out the window. The girls feel that they should be like punished like other children are at their school, like going to the bedrooms and being have things taken away from them.
I've always thought the exercises are too hard.
Do you know that your girls are doing things to protect you getting in trouble and getting shouted at?
I know they were effective.
But they're doing things, you know, like, I'll do the youth and I'll do this, and not wanting Brian to shout at you. And they are worried about you.
And they don't want to upset me.
No, they don't. They don't want to upset you, and they want to keep everything in order for Brian.
It's true. Everything you're saying is true. Everything. I didn't realise why they was doing it. Do you see my point?
Let me tell you this. As far as the children are concerned, you know, to me, they're timid.
And then one of the most disturbing episodes was the one where they never aired it because this man ended up punching his 14-year-old daughter in the face on the way to a filming location. So when the daughter shows up there, her face is messed up from being hit. And one of the producers or cameramen is like, what happened to your face? And she's just straight up like, my dad punched me. 2005, it was 38-year-old Yanni Panagiatakis, probably saying that wrong, and his wife Adina, who got on an episode of Wife Swap that would never be aired. His wife Dina had flown to California during the swap while he stayed in Nashville, Tennessee. At the time of the incident, Yanni was driving his daughter, who was 13 years old at the time, not 14, and her 9-year-old brother to a friend's house on that Tuesday night. Now, ABC was accompanying them in another vehicle, so they were following alongside. When they showed up at the filming location, the girl had injuries on her nose and cheek. They asked where these injuries came from. She told them that her father had punched her several times for not wearing a coat. The Wife Swap crew took the girl to a hospital where she was treated and then released. Took the children to a motel that was accompanied by an official from the Tennessee Department of Children's Services. Their father, Yanni, was arrested but freed the next morning on a $1,000 bail. His wife, Adina, immediately flew back home, telling the Tennessean that neither her nor her husband would comment to the press, citing the advice of their lawyer. She said, "Please leave us alone so we can get our lives back together." That episode never aired. I think they were probably trying to hide from it. I don't know if those children are okay, if they were ever taken by CPS. I don't know what happened to this family because there's such limited information out about the situation, but from what I was able to find, the wife defended him. Y'all know, if y'all have seen my videos before, like, I cannot with these parents, these moms who defend their husbands that hurt their children. Cough, Janelle Evans, cough. Oh my God, I can't take it anymore. Have you guys heard about these episodes of Wife Swap? Have you heard of any more that maybe I didn't mention in this video? Let me know in the comments down below, and maybe I'll do more if there is more to find. I'm sure there is, because Wife Swap was unhinged. Just like to pop up here at the end of this video to thank Rocket Money for sponsoring today's video, and to remind you that if you would like to achieve financial freedom, to check the link in my description or pinned comment, or head over to rocketmoney.com/Kyla. That is rocketmoney.com/Kyla, spelled just like you're on YouTube, KYELUH. And get your free trial and get started with Rocket Money, and you can thank me later. And thank you so much, Rocket Money, for sponsoring today's video. If you guys like this video and you would like to see more from me, do not forget to subscribe, and also give this video a thumbs up because that helps me out so much. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you soon for another one.